The most overlooked principle in visual media, the difference between a messy photo and a soft photo, is contrast focus. So what is contrast focus? Well, it's a few things. Let's dive into it. I'm a photographer, but my particular style can often feel more like I'm a bit of a painter. I love fiddling around with Photoshop, and changing things to achieve my vision has never been an issue for me. But there are things that have become more apparent for me over time, and I never quite knew why. For example, in the beginning, I loved two things: really heavy bokeh and forests. Over time, I got bored of this, as I do with everything. But when I started adding more of the background, or I tried to make the images sharper, my images immediately got worse. If I changed the images to black and white, it would often fix this, but I felt like that was kind of like giving up. I feel that if an artist has a vision, they have to follow it till the end and not cut corners because they're not technically good enough. If they start cutting corners, I don't feel like it's their art anymore. Maybe that doesn't make sense to all of you, but that's how I feel. I realized that's because of something that I slowly started calling contrast focus. Failing that is when visual elements in an overall object composition trigger your subconscious tendency to focus on deviations of color and tonality, diverting your focus from what the artist wants you to look at. So what does that mean? Well, when it comes to photography, it can mean that something like a forest is going to be a real nightmare. Your brain is so good at picking up contrasts that it's going to look briefly at the subject, but then start looking at things like specks of light coming in through the branches and different colored leaves and stuff like that. And that's an issue when your image should be relaxing. When it comes to portraits, it can be things like stray hairs or a different tone in your skin. It's just not soft. Let's take a look at a few examples where I've tried to fix the contrast focus so you can really see the difference. This one focuses on tonality contrasts, and it's quite fun because it definitely isn't something you consider changing if you didn't know it was a problem. Here is Magdalena Corpez doing her thing, and immediately your eyes are in conflict. Even though the subject is clear, your eyes are not resting. The picture is what many would call messy. But is it the fruit? Is it the flowers? Nope. Check this out. We remove all the tonality contrasts in the milk surface. You felt that in your eyes? Immediate relaxation. Your eyes were being subconsciously drawn to the reflections in the milk because their tonality were in sharp contrast with everything else. Making your eyes go, okay, we saw the model, real cool and all, but dude, check out this thing over here. No, over here, look, it's all shiny and stuff. And you can't comfortably look at the model without feeling that you want to focus on all the contrasts around her. Here's the finished image. Let's look at another one. Here, a girl is sitting next to a lake with tons of different shades of green. It's a bit of a mess, and I bet your eyes are not exactly resting on the subject right now. However, if we take steps towards proper contrast focus, you'll feel the difference sneaking in on you. First, let's get rid of some tonality contrasts here in the grass. Already a bit better. Let's change the colors to red. Get that surreal autumn feel to it, while also broadening the composition a bit, giving the eyes a bit of space. Still not there yet. I spent some time adjusting tonality of each element, but more importantly, I normalized the red colors everywhere, to release your brain of the job of even considering noticing the different shades of red, and I lit up the subject to make her the contrast focus. We see bad contrast focus many places, and this can be avoided from the beginning by understanding your own motive when creating an image. Ask yourself what the most important part of an image is, and make that the contrast focus. If you want to make the model the most important part, avoid placing the model up against a graffiti wall, a daylight forest, or in an abandoned factory. Be careful of white skies in the background, as they provide hard focus contrasts, and make sure that your subject is the contrast. I've even recently started analyzing old paintings from the Romantic period to see how they properly utilize contrast focus. If you have any questions or want to get my opinion on one of your images, just drop me a message on Instagram and I'll gladly be of support. Like, bell, subscribe, all that jazz, and support my small 6,000 subscribers, and be safe. Until next time.